Welcome to the Balance of Cinema podcast, a show dedicated to discussing movies from the cinematic failures to lesser-known classics hiding on Tubi to the martial arts movies starring Oscar winners. I am your host, Steven, and joining me today is Andy Action Movie Guy Gorman of the Imperial Scum podcast. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Stephen. Thank you for having me on. I can't wait to talk some 90s DTV goodness with you today.
Yes, I am very excited. We have like this both weird, it's not weird. It's awesome. These types of movies are fun. I'm not going to deny that. And so I'm so glad to find someone who can share my love of these types of movies. I know recently you said you watched College Kickboxers, and it was just like, wow, someone actually watched that movie.
Right? I actually watched it when I first saw it, when I rented it, and it was called Train to Fight. And then I heard later it was like originally called College Kickboxers. I was like, no, it wasn't. It was Train to Fight. That's how I owned it. That's how I rented it. So yeah, it's always weird when certain movies just show up and it's under a different name or a completely different cover and stuff like that. So yeah.
And then like sometimes it won't even have the actor that you think of when you watch the movie.
Yep. That's happened many a time when I used to rent videos. I'm like, this looks cool. And then I'm like, wait, that guy wasn't even in it. So, yeah.
So I can't even explain why I chose Breathing Fire. I know when I messaged you, I said, like, I was thinking of just asking you to do like a Billy Blanks movie, which there are countless awesome Billy Blanks movies. But then I don't know why, it just hit me that it's like, you know what? I want to do an episode of Breathing Fire.
Perfect.
I wish this movie got more popular because, we're going to discuss it later, but it stars Huy Quan, who has recently won an Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then has starred in different types of mainstream movies. Like he was in Loki recently. He was in the Chris Pratt movie. Electric State?
Yes. Yep. Electric State. He was a voice in Zootopia 2. So yeah, he's like had a huge career resurgence, and it's great to see because he, when we were kids, he was Short Rounds. That's kind of the reason I watched this the first time I saw it because the actual box art had him on it, not just Bolo. So yeah. We'll get to that though.
So what would you say, this is going to be a very big question. What would you say kind of started your love of direct-to-video, action or martial arts movies? I mean, you're the self-proclaimed action movie guy, so.
Yeah. Okay. Star Wars is my first and major love after my wife and kids, of course. But let's see, 1985, I would have been 5 years old. I saw Karate Kid. And Karate Kid spawned my love of martial arts and karate, of course, as did many other kids. And then I had a friend whose dad would rent movies, and his dad loved action movies. And No Retreat, No Surrender was a big one that we used to watch together. And that kind of showed me these guys moving faster and different than Danielson did in Karate Kid. So that kind of opened up my eyes to other stuff. And then when I was old enough when we go to the local mom and pop video store, I'd always go through the movies and just look at all the different boxes and everything. And just action always jumped out to me, and martial arts in general. So Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all that stuff then you start to find various actors that, boxes like we had talked about look like they're going to be really cool, but they might not have the actor in it, or it might be that actor, but from a completely different movie, and he's on the cover. But and that just kind of spawned my love of DTV action, and it has never gone away. It's only grown over the years. So yeah, this was a movie I remember renting, talking my grandma, because one of my favorite stories is my grandma would take each of us kids separately to like kind of stay over, so that way we didn't have to fight, or she didn't have to deal with us arguing, so we could just have one kid. But she would go rent us pizza, and or I mean get us pizza, and then we would rent movies, and she'd let me rent whatever I wanted, so I could go through all the action movies. So this was one that I rented when I was probably 12, 13 with my grandma, while I would be eating pizza, drinking Mountain Dew all night, watching these movies over and over again. So yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It's cool that you saw it when it was new too.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I've been talking about this movie for what 30 years now, and a lot of people, like my friends, are like, "What are you talking about? Breathing Fire?" I was like, "Yeah, it stars, you know, Ki Huy Quan." They're like, "Who?" I'm like, "Short Round," and they're like, "Okay, sure, that's got to be good." I was like, "It is."
Like, do you want to see Short Round kick some ass? Here it is.
Yeah.
For me, my love of DTV action movies, I think all my love of martial arts goes back to Power Rangers.
Hmm.
Because Power Rangers, I think, was for people around my age. They're just like it was such a big introduction to martial arts, and then a couple years later, you're getting like Jackie Chan and Jet Li coming to America, and then from there, it's just like I love martial arts movies, so it's like okay, I want to watch Bruce Lee, I want to watch Steven Seagal, I want to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then you run out of like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies that people know. So what's the next thing you do? You watch his current movies, which you can find a DVD at the video store. And so that kind of just led me down more of the path of watching like, you know, the Van Damme movies that didn't come to theaters. And just kind of realizing that like even like these lower budget movies, they still have better fight scenes than like the mainstream Hollywood movies. So it got me to like really trust like, which, you know, if you watch like Steven Seagal straight to video movies, you kind of learn not to trust all straight to video movies.
Yep. Hmm. That's more of an ego thing that I hold against Steven Seagal personally, which is weird because when he first burst on the scene, his like first run of movies from like Above the Law till uh Under Siege are like they're bangers, and then he goes and Ego is ultimately undefeated, and it will take even the best of people down. And
Almost
now
pretty
you look at what he's
instantly
having now.
too.
Yeah, very. Yeah, it was like a complete 180.
Yeah. He did On Deadly Grounds, and then immediately after that, he was like, "Okay, you're going to be in a Kurt Russell movie. Don't act like an asshole." And then he immediately acts like an asshole. And it ruins everything.
Yep. Okay. In that case, you're gonna die in 10 minutes. Cool.
Yeah. But it's really the advent of like, or it's really like the creation of something like Tubi that kind of has been able to help me open up more to like the stuff that like I didn't see in the 80s and 90s. Um and so since then I've been watching like a lot of these like types of movies like nonstop, and I love them. I love them to death.
Yep. Me too. It's like one of those. Tubi is the closest thing you can get to kind of walking through an old school video store and like just looking at all the various covers. And then the best part is though, when you click on some of them down below, they give you, what else is similar, and you can just start. I sometimes lose track of what I'm doing, and then I was like, I should probably watch something instead of just looking at what to watch. And then I'm like, all right, I got to go to bed because I spent 4 hours searching.
And then it's cool, like for like actors like Donnie Yen, like if you go on Tubi, it'll have like all of his like more recent like Hong Kong movies, and then you can go back and watch something like Drunken Tai Chi, which is his first movie.
Yeah, yeah. See how far he's come, which is quite a ways.
So my experience with Breathing Fire kind of comes more like I said, comes more recently. I had seen Key in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's like I grew up watching like The Goonies and Temple of Doom, and so it was cool. Like, oh my god, he's back! And like, wait, he's like a martial artist. And then like you go back and like you find Breathing Fire, and then you find he was in another martial arts movie too called Red Pirates, which I haven't seen personally, but
Mhm.
it is on YouTube. So
Yep, it's definitely worth a watch.
okay, yeah, I'll have to check it out then. And then like even he did like choreography and stunts for like stuff like X-Men too.
Yeah. When you hear he was like, I wasn't getting offers to star in movies because I aged up to a certain age and they just weren't hiring, Asian actors for these type of roles. So he's like, I went and learned how to shoot action, choreograph, and he's done so many things behind the scenes. And you're like, whoa, he was okay. He like never left. And then, like we said, he had his huge comeback with Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it's great to see somebody who was such a charismatic screen presence kind of get his flowers and get like a second or even third shot at it, because I guess you could view his second go around was like behind the camera making things that we didn't really know he was a part of, and now he's back in front of the camera, and he's bubbly. His personality's so fun, and that's one of the things that shines through in this one. Sure, it's a 1990s DTV, so some of the acting can sometimes leave a lot to be desired, but that's also why they kind of hold a special place in my heart, because it's kind of like friends getting together to make movies. And it's like, who cares if the acting's good? Is the action awesome? Yep, sign me up.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite action movies is the Eric Jacobus movie Contour, and it's like the acting's not that great, the jokes aren't that great, but the fighting's great, and you can just see like how much fun that they're having behind their groans of pain. So it's infectious. So I'm curious, did you watch Love Hurts, his movie from last year?
Yeah. I went to the theater and watched it. I will support Huy Quan wherever he goes. So yes, I went and watched it.
I went to the theater to see it too. It's like I have to contribute to, like, if this movie doesn't do well and I don't see it, I'll feel really bad. So I made sure to see it like opening weekend, I think. What did you think of it?
Love Hurts is kind of mixed on it. I thought the action was really well done. I thought he's charming as all get out. Some of the humor was decent. Like, was it Marshawn Lynch? I think was one of the main bad guys. I thought he was great, but and the end fight was fantastic. It's just, unfortunately, some of it, was a little hit or miss at times. But like the whole romance thing, I didn't buy when I watched it. That kind of fell flat for me. But the action was to where I was like, I could care less about the romance, quote unquote, falling flat, because it was really well done. And just to see him getting to fight, and not just fight, but fight like in a cool modern way under 8711's direction, and like fight choreography and stuff. It was very cool that they tried to go back to older, kind of Jackie Chan style, using his environment, using things that you would find around the house, and just kind of getting to be awesome. So yeah, I liked it. It's not one I will revisit as often as some other ones, but I'll definitely, pop it on here or there if I'm in the mood for a little chuckle here or there, or to watch some good action.
Yeah, I'm basically with you 100% on that one. It was cool because it was like, oh, cool, Daniel Wu and Ke Huy Quan are gonna fight each other. Like, that's like an awesome setup for me. But it's like the romance just sucks. And the first episode of this podcast was Craven and Mystery Men, so I spent a lot of the Craven discussion talking about how I'm convinced that if I didn't know that Ariana DeBose won an Oscar, I would just assume she's a bad actress because she's not good in Craven or Love Hurts. But it's like, she won an Oscar, so maybe those are just not good roles for her. But
yeah, I guess you could argue the directors may have had a hand in her not, because you're only as good as everybody who else is working around with you, and like everybody else was great, but I just think her character was written wrong for her, and there's only so much you can do. You can't salvage everything with charm and charisma. It goes a long way, but if you're given dialogue that doesn't work, ugh.
Yeah. But yeah, the fight scenes in it, I think, are worth at least checking the movie out.
Oh, most definitely.
All right. So this movie came out in 1991. I was looking at the behind the scenes stuff, and I checked the directors out. The directors have not made another movie other than this.
Yep.
Wikipedia says that there's three directors, Brendan DeWild and Lou Kennedy, and then Letterbox adds Brandon Pender, which I would honestly not be surprised if that's just the same person. He just has two different names.
Right. He has one for this and then one for other stuff.
But if I heard, and I wasn't able to collaborate this, but I believe this was filmed with a Taiwan crew.
It would make sense given the way the fights are kind of frenetic and well done and shot and edited well. And there seems to be a lack of like Hollywood safety even in the B movie range, because there's some of these things where I'm like, oh, okay, he really kicked him in the face. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Which I haven't seen too many Taiwan action movies, but like the clips I've seen, they're insane.
Yeah, they don't hold back.
Yeah. If you watch a Jackie Chan movie and you're like, wow, this looks dangerous, it's like, oh brother, wait till you see some Taiwanese stunts.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they will make you cringe before it even hits, because you know you kind of see what's coming and you're just like, your whole body tenses and you kind of do one of those like, oh no. And then as soon as they hit, you're like, oh my God. Like, I've seen a lot of Hong Kong action and it makes me cringe, but not as much as that.
Yeah. And so cast wise, there are some, if you're familiar with these movies, there are some familiar faces, but if you're coming into this like not ever seeing like movies in this realm, you're gonna be like, who? But Huy Quan, which I'm mispronouncing his name. I'm really sorry. I'm trying. Of course, self-explanatory. We spent most of the discussion discussing him. But he plays. Let's get this out of the way right now. He plays a character named Charlie. Now,
which I'm convinced his dad, his adopted dad named him, because there's a horrible flashback which we'll get to. I'm like, oh boy.
Key, from what I understand in real life, Key was born. I believe he's Chinese, but he's born in Vietnam, and then the character is Vietnamese, and then they decided to call him Charlie.
Yep, the '90s were a crazy time.
And his brother is played by his brother Tony Moore is played by hopefully I'm getting his name right, Eddie Saavedra,
Yeah, something like that, I guess.
Who he has no other credits but this. All I know about him is after this movie he joined the Navy.
Oh, I see. I didn't even look that far. I just looked real quick and saw that he had no other credits. I was like, oh, interesting.
Well, it's IMDb. It could even be a lie, but it was like I was looking up IMDb to find any other information about this movie, and it's like Eddie joined the Navy, and it's like, oh. I like to imagine that one day he was with his Navy buddies, and they talked about Temple Doom, and he's like, hey, I did a movie with that guy.
Like, sure you did. And then he's like, well, let's go to Tubi and check. Well, Tubi wasn't a bad thing at the time, but he probably had, copies of it with him.
Apparently, I'm going to choose to believe this because I don't know why somebody would say this, but I don't know why somebody would lie about this, but apparently Jason David Frank was up for the role of Tony, who of course is famous for being Tommy in Power Rangers. But he had to bow out because of injury. I could you imagine if this movie had both Short Round and Tommy from Power Rangers in this?
It would be. I think everybody would know about it then because of Jason David Frank going on to become as popular as he was, and like the quintessential Power Ranger when everybody thinks of Power Rangers.
Oh, they would have re-released this movie in '94 and put him on the cover.
Oh. In a heartbeat. Probably wearing green colors or white.
And playing their father, Michael Moore, I thought that was kind of funny, is Jerry Trimble, who is a world champion kickboxer, also actor, stuntman. Another movie where he plays a main part is in The Master with Jet Li, also featuring Billy Blanks as an unnamed character of no lines, and
countless other 90s DTV goodness. Like, he's one of those guys that would like show up, and unfortunately it's become kind of a joke, but you do the whole Leo meme where you point and you're like, hey, it's that guy from King of the Kickboxers or from Breathing Fire or from the so yep. He would that was Jerry Trimble for me.
If anyone is going to recognize Jerry Trimble for anything, he's going to be one of the detectives in Heat who you don't recognize.
Yes, you're like, who's this guy? The blonde guy who...
Because Pacino's like team of like detectives in that one is awesome. You have Buffalo Bill, you have the Sphinx from Mystery Men, you have Bubba, and then you have another blonde guy hanging around in the background.
Yep, just this random kind of mulleted dude.
And then another Power Rangers connection, we have as David Moore, Ed Neal. Now this is not Ed O'Neill from Married with Children, and it's not Edwin Neal, who played the hitchhiker from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is Ed Neal, who his biggest claim to fame is probably being a suit actor for Power Rangers, specifically as Lord Zed, who's the main villain from season 2 and 3. Which I was honestly shocked by, especially because you see him like he has like quite a few fight scenes in this one. It's like I didn't expect like they put like a martial artist like Lord Zed. I assumed this got a big guy, and they called it, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's good. We got a big guy sitting in a chair.
Right. I'm like, if that's the case, why didn't Lord Zed fight more? Because this guy can move.
Yeah. Which is funny too, because I was looking at like, so he actually did suit act. He was the suit actor for like a couple of seasons of Power Rangers, like up until like Lost Galaxy, I think. And he generally plays like the big like not like the big bad, but he'll play like a bad guy that just he's like one of the generals that sits in the lair and does nothing. And it's like, this guy could fight. Why isn't he like the Monster of the Week suit actor? But he did also do suit stuff for like the Putties and the Red Ranger. So they did use him for fighting, but it's just eventually they're just like, yeah, you're the guy in the chair from now on.
Yep. Which, hey, I guess if you can get a job not having to, fight and risk hurting yourself every time, good on him.
Yeah. And then, of course, we got who the VHS covers, or at least certain ones, especially the one on Tubi, the guy they're implying is the main character, but it's not really. Bolo Yeung as Thunder.
Thunder. Such a ridiculous name.
It's funny. There's a guy named Thunder, and there's a guy named Tank, and then everyone else has normal names.
Right. Yeah, Alan and Jenny, and then Thunder and Tank.
Of course, Bolo is most famous for Bloodsport, where he plays Chong Li. I first knew about him from Enter the Dragon, where he plays Bolo.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he got his name from. But then, of course, Bloodsport. I don't know. Would you say Bloodsport's bigger than Enter the Dragon? I feel like that's not true, but
I think to a certain generation it is, because Van Damme was, you think about it, 72, Bruce Lee's super popular, but you kind of find Bruce Lee when you get a little bit older, and Bloodsport, you could probably see it more often on like TBS than you did Enter the Dragon at that time. So that's probably what most people would have seen him first in, and then would have found like, oh, he's in that. And then, okay, Enter the Dragon. He's literally like, that's where he gets his namesake from. Cool.
Yeah. Which also, Bloodsport, he's the main villain, and then Enter the Dragon, he's kind of just like a heavy. He doesn't even fight Bruce Lee. John Saxon fights him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But John Saxon kicks him in the balls, and I think he dies from that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've never been kicked in the balls by John Saxon, but maybe he had so much power that it would just take the life right out of you.
But yeah, like Bloodsport was like huge for his career, because after that, like Bolo is in like 30 straight to video action movies.
Yep.
And then even like he's in another Van Damme movie, he's in Double Impact. But yeah, Bolo, if you get into the depths of like straight to video action movies, Bolo pops up a lot. He's in the Tiger Claw series. He teams up with Billy Blanks in TC 2000, one of my favorite Billy Blanks movies.
Same.
Yeah. He's in like a ton of these movies, generally floating between good guy and bad guy. This one, though, he sits in the henchman spots.
Most definitely. Henchman who gets to dress up in some interesting ways. That was quite the character introduction.
Yeah. I had forgotten about that. So it's like, oh, who's this like female? Oh my god, it's Bolo.
Yeah. It's Thunder.
He's Bolo in everything to me.
Same here.
except the
You
Bloodsport
could name him anything. Yeah, except Chung Li, because
This movie is also apparently a remake of the Hong Kong movie The Flash Legs or Shaolin Deadly Kicks, because every Hong Kong movie has multiple titles.
Yep, got to love that. I think I've probably seen it under both titles at one point in time. Various YouTube ones, and now whatever Tubi would have it under. So
Which I kind of like. I didn't watch it. I just like kind of looked in the plot, and it seems like really all it is just the whole like key plot of this
yeah,
movie. By that I don't mean
you mean the most ridiculous plot part of the movie?
yeah. um, and all right, with the cast and crew done. Andy, could you please read the synopsis of this movie?
Yes, I will do my very best. So, according to Letterboxd, which I did check, it is the same on Letterboxd as it is on IMDb. So, Michael, a Vietnam vet with 2 kids, pulls off a bank heist with his gang, which includes the bank's manager. To ensure the loyalty of everyone involved, Mike makes a special set of keys so that the hiding place for the loot can only be opened if all the members are present. The bank manager, however, gets cold feet and tries to back out. So Michael and his buddies kill him and his wife. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that, but it's so ridiculous. Michael and his buddies. So, all right, kill him and his wife. His daughter, however, gets a hold of the key and runs for help to David, one of her father's old friends, who also happens to be a Vietnam vet and former comrade of Michael's. Will David be able to protect his friend's daughter? That's it. No mention of our leads, Charlie, or they don't even mention the kid. It makes it sound like it's like this crazy bank heist movie that is like super, super serious. And while it's at times serious, man, this movie is anything but. I mean, they don't even go into the fact that, and I'm sure you're going to bring this up, but the keys, no, he doesn't have a special set of keys. He has 2 giant ass, ridiculous looking keys that they warm up and put in the back of a plastic pizza. And then each member of the gang gets a piece of the pizza so they can come back, mold the keys again to open the safe that is all this stuff is hidden in. It's the most ridiculous plot I've ever seen for like the most unnecessary steps for a heist where we're going to hide this stuff. And like, I mean, there's a whole scene where they cut the keys apart so you know that they can't use them anymore.
Yeah.
And the plastic pizza is ridiculous. I'm like, wait a minute, plastic pizza? Like, kudos to Jerry Trimble, because he had to sell that when he was filming it, and boy, did I believe it.
It's funny too, is they say a former comrade of Michael. They're brothers, aren't they?
They're brothers, and then literally, it's the first when David shows up, he meets Tony and Charlie, and he's like, "Hey, this is your uncle David." He's like, "Wait, you've never met him before?" And I was like, "Wow, okay," because Tony and Charlie are what, 15, 16 years old? Because remember, I think the whole thing is Charlie's hoping that they win, so the dad will buy him a Porsche, because they're like super, super well off. So this isn't the first bank heist I think that the dad's pulled.
Yeah, they're basically spoiled rich kids, which I think is really funny.
It is funny, and it starts with the dad jokingly dropping them off at their their taekwondo tournament, and he's like, "All right, boys, good luck. I'll see you later. Sorry, I can't stay." And then it's a ridiculous heist where Bolo's dressed like a woman, and like they're shooting people and like breaking legs and putting the poor bank manager's head into a toilet full of piss. Oh, so gross. But it's like this movie goes back. It's like the most tonal whiplashes you'll have in a DTV movie in a long while, because usually they're a consistent tone. They're trying to be serious or they're trying to be funny. This just goes back and forth whenever they want.
There's multiple times where this just feels like this should be like airing after Three Ninjas. and then the movie just becomes very violent out of nowhere.
Yep, 3 ninjas, surf ninjas, and then then you could be like, oh, breathing fire is going to be great. Oh my god! So yeah,
I wonder if like that was ever the case. It's like, yeah, we're gonna have like which this is before Three Ninjas, so I guess not. But I wonder if that was the case where it's like, yeah, we're gonna have this nice fun movie with Data from Goonies, and he's gonna like fight like these bank robbers, and then someone was like, this is actually pretty dark. Never mind. We're not gonna market this to kids.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, what if the bank manager who backs out? It's not only they kill him and his wife, but it's his birthday. He shows up at home, and his wife and daughter are throwing him a surprise party, and he's got a black eye. He probably smells like pee because he was, his head was pushed in a toilet. So they could play off like he wasn't a part of it. And then they just outright kill him. And the daughter never cries once. Like, she leaves with her dog and finds David, and she's just like, hey, my parents are dead. Here's some pizza. I don't know what's going on here. And she's like, she's not impacted at all. It's nuts. That girl needs to be checked because she's going to grow up to be a serial killer.
It's also like barely in this movie too. You think she would play a bigger role, but after a point, she kind of is just like, she's just at the house, which is funny because she's at the house of the guy who killed her father the whole time, and he doesn't do anything to her.
Well, yeah, because remember, it was darker when it happened, and Michael was smart enough to wear his foolproof disguise of a little pencil-thin mustache that goes on his face and slick his hair back even more so than it normally is. But it's so weird that would happen.
Yeah, the movie constantly switches from just like Charlie and Tony just being like, like those wacky teenagers who know martial arts. There's like a scene where Charlie's like throwing stuff at like his freaking butler. His butler's chasing after him.
He's a dick to his butler, man. His butler's just trying to tell him to clean his room. And he's like punching him in the face with with like padded gloves on and just being a complete jerk. And then his dad's like, guys, I told you, be nice to him. He's family. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then that same dad, 2 hours later, is committing murder and almost killing a girl their own age. It's ridiculous, but I kind of wouldn't have it any other way, because if it tried to play this movie serious the whole time, I think it'd be a little much. And if they tried to play it too cutesy, because I mean they get grounded, so they have to paint the side of a building because their houses, they have this huge compound, and they get their friend who can dance to do it, and then it's like, I mean they even have a freaking theme song. There's a theme song. They made a song for this movie. It's in the movie. It plays twice.
Plus, I just really like seeing Key play a character like this because, he generally obviously short round's a bit of a troublemaker, but the fact that like he's just playing like this like bored rich kid. It's like, oh, life has no consequences. I'm just gonna be kind of shitty to everybody. He's just a brat. It's so funny.
Yep. Yeah. Until he's forced to kind of grow up a little bit. Both him and Tony have to grow up, and when they it is super strange. They never really address the fact that we're jumping all over the place. We should probably go in order, but so they kill the bank manager and his wife. His daughter gets away. She goes to David, who takes her to Michael's house for some reason, even though I think because Michael and David and the bank manager were all in Vietnam together. So, and plus David's kind of a drunk and he doesn't want to have any really help. So he's like, maybe Michael will help, so he takes the daughter there, and then they get attacked while they're there. So they're like, okay, we definitely can't leave her here. And then it's one of those movies that you try to actually explain or follow, you're just like you sound like a crazy person telling your friend about a book you read, and you're like, oh yeah, and then this happened, and then there's this character comes in, and then that happens, and you're just like, wait a minute, I sound like a crazy person right now because it is a weird plot that has a lot going on, but it's mainly there to get us to training scenes and then fight scenes.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like Charlie and Tony basically joined the plot not because like they want to help the girl or anything. Well, I mean, yeah, they do want to help the girl. I don't know why I said that. Not because like they have like a really big attachment to the girl or anything, but it just seems like they're just the idea of like, oh, cool, we want to help.
Yeah, basically, they're like, well, number one, she's cute, so they're kind of fighting over her affections, which is kind of typical teenage stuff. And then as soon as like she gets attacked, they can fight, so they take some of these guys out. But then Bolo shows up, and they can't take Bolo. But then they get to see that their uncle David is like a Tai Chi master, and he comes in and like just totally manhandles Bolo. Like it's kind of interesting that he defeats him so easily and like sends him running. And then later they go to a bar because they track people, and then David has a quick fight with Michael, and who's again wearing his awesome bad guy disguise of sunglasses and the little pencil thin mustache that's just put on, and he breaks David's knee, and then they go on the run, and like there's never one scene where they go, hey, we should tell Dad we're gonna go with Uncle David and this girl to keep her safe. Nope, they just go.
It's like the movie forgets that their dad is the main villain.
Until he says some of the most mean, horrible things to Charlie at the very end, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh my God.
I want to focus on that when we get to it.
Oh, yeah.
But, and then it's funny too, the fight between Michael and David is like, this is probably a really good fight if I could see what the hell's going on. Because it has this like intense strobing effect.
Yeah. I'm like, just because we're at a club in the 90s doesn't mean you have to have strobe. And I know what they were doing. It was also so Michael could hide who he is from David and from his kids, that, even with the surefire, glasses and pencil thin mustache disguise, okay, strobe light so they can't see what's going on. And then, but it's funny because he breaks his leg, and he doesn't kill him, but then later in the movie, he's ready to kill everybody. You're just like, why not kill him then? So you don't have to worry about this later. Just you and your super hot bank robber chick can go do whatever you guys want to do together and move on.
Do you think Charlie and Tony know his Michael's girlfriend? Like, do you think he's like, oh guys, I'm gonna go hang out with her. You guys have pizza on me.
Yeah, yeah, but have real pizza, not the fake pizza. But no, no, I don't think they do. I think he's trying to keep everything separate. You know what I mean? He's trying to. I don't think she ever comes over unless they're not there, which clearly happens a lot because she seems to be over there a lot. But then again, Michael's never met. Michael never goes. Oh, you know what? Too, we only see their butler, quote unquote butler, that one time where Key's being kind of a douche to him. There's never a scene later where the butler like walks in and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir," and he walks away. Like, or Michael never goes into him and goes, "Hey, where are the boys at?"
Who are all these people at this house that I've never met?
Also, what bank in just the like suburbs has that many gold bars in it? I was thinking to myself, I'm like, that's Fort Knox.
Yeah, it's funny. They don't steal money; they steal gold bars.
Like a shit ton of gold bars. Like you'd have to like, where did they carry them out on? And then they have this ridiculous vault that they have in this like broken down factory, and it's like, okay, and clearly he had to have it special made because of those ridiculously large keys that you put on the back of the fake pizza. So there's so many little questions. I want the prequel that sets this whole heist up, because Michael would have had to rob multiple banks to get the money to set up everything. And even then, when you see what he's got, you're like, do you need any more? Because this is the 90s and you're like living really good. Like you've got cell phones in your car, you've got huge acreage, you've got a pool, you've got multiple buildings on your property. Like I think you've stolen enough.
Do you think this was going to be the final job? And it's like, after this, we're all out.
Oh yeah, maybe that could be it. Maybe that's why Michael's so pissed later, because his final job goes to hell, and yeah. So maybe that is, yeah. I guess you know what, we're gonna make our own back story up for Michael's intentions.
Which I wanted to go back to the bar scene really quick because there's like so much that happens there. That scene is like a good like example of just the two clashing tones of this movie, because it just seems like a 90s kid movie. Like, oh, the kids followed their uncle to a bar, and now they need to like have like their friend like do a dance to distract everybody.
Yep, and a weird robot dance while he's dressed eerily like Michael Jackson, like it down to the Jerry curl. It's crazy. And that guy's an actual martial artist too. I think that's TJ Storm is their friend.
I was actually about to bring him up. TJ Storm has been like in like countless movies. I remember him most from Punisher Warzone, where he plays the black Irish hardcore guy who gets impaled by a fence. But he was also in VR Troopers. He is one of the Native American.
Wasn't he in that WMAC Masters, or was that a different guy?
No, he wasn't. I know who
you're right. No, that was a different guy. That was the guy who was in Mortal Kombat, who also had long dreads.
TJ Storm is also he's like an accomplished mocap artist. He's done like, I guess that's him as Iron Man. When Iron Man's in a suit, that's him doing the motion capture for it. And he's also Godzilla.
Yep. Hey, cool. Awesome. Somebody from this went on along with Key to do something great. So that's awesome.
Yeah. If I ever, because he comes to a lot of cons in California, if I ever meet him again, I have to bring up this movie to him.
Oh, most definitely. These are the kind of movies I do bring up to people when I've met various actors. Like I walked by, we had a recent con in Michigan, and Donald Gibb was there, and I just walked by him, and I did like a little. I just looked at him, and I just said, "That hurts me just looking at it." And he just looked at me, and goes, "Hell yeah, brother!" And I just walked on, and I was like, "Cool, yep, yep." So I was like, one of those. I'm like, Bloodsport. Got it. Cool. And he just, without missing a beat, he just looked at me, laughed, and went, "Oh yeah, brother." And then when I walked by again later, he like tapped somebody. He goes, "Hey, that's that guy." So that was cool.
I talked to Daniel Southworth. Are you familiar with Daniel Southworth?
Oh yeah.
I brought up US SEALs 2 to him, and he was just "Oh man, that movie sucked." And I'm over here like, I actually love US SEAls 2.
No, I love it too. I mean, sure, there's an overusage of swoosh effects and everything else, and some of the
most US SEAls 2 I definitely have to do on this podcast, because it's just that movie has an insane plot. It's like, oh, there's just nuclear energy around everywhere, so you can't use guns. So we need all the Navy SEALs that know martial arts.
And each of them has their own special, unique weapons.
Yeah,
it's great. Yep.
And then another example too, I brought up the movie Wicked Game to both Johnny Young Bosch and the guy who played Skull. And they're just like, "What? You've actually seen that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have it on DVD."
Yeah, I've got a friend who does the Action Addicts podcast. His name's Scott, and he has had a lot of guests on recently, including Johnny Young Bosch and stuff like that. So he and I think we talked about Broken Path on one of his podcasts years ago. So yeah, I'm a huge Johnny Young Bosch fan. So yeah, if I ran into him, that's what I'd be talking about. Would be, Wicked Game, that Broken Path, Power Rangers, some of his voice acting work, but I'm more of a fan of his, fighting roles and stuff like that. So
I could bet you he's probably really excited that someone's bringing up something other than his martial arts stuff, because it's like, I'm sure all day it's just Power Rangers and anime stuff, and it's like,
it's got to be, right? I mean, that's what he's most known for. So I guarantee he's like, let me guess, Power Rangers or one of my voice works. And then so even though they were shocked that you would bring it up, I'm sure when you left, they were just like, holy crap, somebody saw Wicked Game.
And then during this like very like goofy dancing, the breathing fire theme starts to play for a little bit.
Yep.
I really miss that era of movies where like every movie would have like their own theme song with like the name of the movie in the song. I think the last time I saw someone do that was Wolf Cop.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I can't think of.
Oh, Psycho Gorman. Psycho Gorman has the Psycho Gorman rap.
Oh, fact. Yes, yes, it does. Yes, it most certainly does. I just should have known that. That's one of my nicknames on one of the other discords I'm a part of is Psycho
Oh.
Gorham. Somebody like named it, and I'm too lazy to change it back.
Oh, that just reminds me. I need to watch the Deathstalker movie.
You most certainly do. It is amazing.
I'm gonna keep most of that in because I love just weird movie tangents.
Me too. It's like the best part of doing podcasts.
People are listen to this. It's like I subscribe because of the Wuthering Heights thing. What the hell are you guys talking about? Johnny Young Bosch martial arts movies.
Breathing fire. What's this? Yeah, and then you guys do a big deep dive on Johnny Young Bosch's career. Okay.
So if David now injured, the kids pester him into teaching them his style of martial arts, which they never say what his style of martial arts is, and it's clearly like just a mishmash of different kung fu styles.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Because he's like the way he does it is he's got some very because one of the fights earlier he uses a hose like it's a kind of rope dart type whip that is big in like Tai Chi and Kung Fu or sorry not Tai Chi Wushu, excuse me, and then he has a lot of like circular motions that are very Wushu like, and then but everything he teaches them is like standard, like just mixed martial arts without grappling. Actually, there's even grappling because they like throw each other later. So yeah, there's a super long training scene, which I'm always a big fan of a good training scene. But
he's having him like punch phone books to death.
Oh, well, and that there shows the complete polar opposite of the movie too, because they're training so hard where they're punching these phone books to where the phone books have worn away and their knuckles are bleeding all over the tree. And the very next scene, they're blindfolded and Charlie starts like pulling one eye up and like making noises to Tony going, "Aw," and hitting him in the face and flicking him and then like being ridiculous. And then it goes back to a super serious training scene. You're like, even the training scenes can't maintain a singular tone. They have to whiplash you back and forth. Like, yeah, bloody knuckles versus one guy's pulling up his blindfold and flicking his brother in the ear. It's
the training scene like
crazy.
The training scene like almost turns into like Karate Kid 3 when like Terry Silver's training Daniel, and then like you said, it's just like them poking each other in the eyes and stuff like that.
Yep. That's a great analogy. I was like, yeah, he's like basically making them bleed. And then the next one, they're just like having fun being brothers. And then it cuts back again as if it's their final training because they basically bow and he's sitting there on the rock with his crutch. And they're basically doing, really well done paired kata as somebody who's taken various martial arts throughout the years. It's very interesting to see how, when you go back and watch the training, how close these guys are punching and kicking to each other's faces is really good. And the camera can't hide all of it because there's some weird angles and you're like, holy crap, they're like, those punches are really close. Those kicks are very close. So yeah, I love that part of it because I'm a big fan of all that behind the scene, like that type of stuff. So,
but yeah, now that they've learned, it really just seems like that it's like, okay, yeah, you kids know Taekwondo, but now you know Wushu, so now you guys are even stronger.
Yeah, he just makes them better. He just makes them better, stronger people. He doesn't really. I mean, they were already pretty good martial artists beforehand.
Which I think we actually forgot to bring this up, but like the movie opens with them like basically winning their way into a tournament, which is in. They say it's in
we
California.
briefly talked about it. Yeah, yep. Nothing there looks like California.
And then the movie just drops the tournament
until the very end.
They don't mention like training for. I think. Well, there's like some scenes of them training. I think presumably that could be them training for the tournament. But yeah, the movie just gets overtaken by the whole like robbery plot. Um, and so they start tracking down some of their father's men, which they still don't know their father's the bad guy.
Yep.
They they end up tracking down Tank, which it's like, are all these guys like living like within like a couple miles of each other?
Yeah, they
Because
seem to
they
not
find
be
him
that far
really
away.
quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, they find him super fast. Like they're like, we got to find him. He goes, yeah, we'll start with that one guy, and then literally they're there. Like they don't have to track him down. They don't have to look where he was last time and follow him home. They're in the back of his pickup truck. Like, and then basically, poor Tank is probably the nicest of all of them. He lives at home with his mom, who's blind and cooking him food, and then they kind of home alone him by like setting up a little trap for him, and then they beat him up, and then he tells them everything like while he's crying in his mom's arms. It's kind of it's a very ridiculous scene.
Is this where they learn about the pizza?
Yes, because he tells them about everything, and like Tony's trying, the actor that plays Tony, Eddie Savard, he's like, Hank, we're gonna help you, and he's trying to like feign emotion in his voice, and it's kind of funny. He's like, don't worry, but we need you to stay close to the gang. He's almost, I hate to say, he almost sounds like that Saturday Night Live skit of the Californians at time, where he's
yeah.
like, because Eddie's like, Tone, I need you to stop.
You need to stay with the gang as you head down as you head down Sunset.
Yes,
And then
Sunset,
turn
take a
West
left on
Hollywood.
Santa Monica. Hank, what are you doing here?
Yeah, and then they eventually
But
they
yeah,
come
that's,
across. Sorry, good.
no, I was saying that's how they find out about said pizza, and then they go to the bar, which is another kind of ridiculous scene.
Yeah. And then they find Alan, which once again, just there's two people with weird names, and then you just have Alan.
Yep, who's actually a pretty good martial artist himself. Like Alan can kick ass.
Yeah. I mean, like we could say this the whole movie. Just the fight scenes in this are really damn good.
They're incredibly well choreographed. They're well shot. I can see why Eddie was cast, because he is a very good martial artist and like competent screen fighter. Like he doesn't look out of place. He is like, his kicks are really good. Like that's one of the things I wish he would have kept making these DTV movies, because I'm like, he looks phenomenal in these scenes, and there's really good slow-mo that highlights some really like spectacular looking kicks, and it gets kind of bloody at times. Like these aren't like, like people get messed up in these fights. They're not just, oh, we're done and we're moving on. Like there's, yeah, I'm a big fan of the fight scenes. They really stand out. Like I said, the training scenes are great, but the fight scenes are even better.
I actually increased my score of this movie by half a star, just purely because, like, just watching these fight scenes again, I'm like, oh my god, these are like really good. Like, no matter what you think about the movie, the fight scenes alone are like worth like watching.
Exactly, and there's enough throughout. It's not like a mile a minute fight scenes. Like there's some movies where it's nonstop fighting, and I love those too. But this one, they do try to. There's enough fights peppered throughout, and the story gets you where you need to go. So, they do that. But then there's also, I guess, because we're get the flashback scene where you find out, because they're doing all this stuff, and then literally Charlie finds out a little bit about his past, but not a whole lot, because he asked David, like, what happened, and David gives him the worst lie you could possibly tell anybody, where your mom asked us to take you with us so she could give you a better life. Like, what mother would do that?
It's like, you think she would just, come, just be like, hey, can you get me out of here, please?
Yeah, can you take me with you? Because you just can't take somebody out of the country, like, just because you're a military person. You just can't. Hey, we found this kid. He's mine now. But
Yeah.
we get this insane flashback that I still, every time I see it, and I've seen this movie a lot, it still jaw dropping how insane it is to me. Because you're like, wait a minute. We've had breakdancing scenes. We've had brothers being ridiculous, trying to win a young girl's affection. We've had some training scenes. We've had some fun fight scenes with Tank and with Alan. And then we finally learn what really happened and how Charlie's there. And Michael just blows away a Vietnam hut and killing Charlie's mom. And then he was just going to leave him there. Just gonna leave him there. And then David's like, you're responsible. You got to take him back with you. And I was like, what is happening here? Like, it's nuts. So I want people to know, if you're going to watch it, there's some weirdness in it that, like you said, is cringeworthy and unfortunately of its time. But it just still boggles my mind that that's what they came up with for the reason that Charlie's with him. Not just maybe he just adopted him randomly, it's but then again, it does play into
accidentally.
Michael.
Like,
no,
no, I shot his mom. It's like he did it on purpose.
Yeah, like somebody said, hey, there's civilians in there, and Michael goes, good, almost, and just starts shooting at the hut, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then maybe they did that scene because it juxtaposes when you see him later at the end when he's saying some of the most vile, mean things you could say to your adopted son ever. So, yeah, it's mind-boggling what happens. So they kind of work with Tank to figure out who's all involved. And they purposely give the piece back, right? They give the piece of pizza that the daughter took. They like accidentally drop it so they can then track them to where the treasure's hidden. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Because I just watched it, and honestly, I can never remember if that's what happens or not, or if they, and that is because they drop it. They have this whole huge plan that they don't even put David onto. They just plan it with Tank. There's even a time where David's out of the movie for like 20, 30 minutes. And then he shows up at the end again.
with his crutch, just kind of walking around.
Yeah. He's like, maybe I should follow my nephews and, oh, okay, we'll go to this crazy broken down factory warehouse thing and we'll see what's going on there. And then
which this set is like insane. I don't know if this was like basically I feel like this is one of those things where like someone found this place and they're like, we have to shoot a movie here.
Oh, it had to be.
Had to. It's like an abandoned. There's like an abandoned factory here, and then when you leave, there's like a castle and like ships that are like here, and then there's like nuts. This is like a.
And it was like working at times. Yeah, yes, it totally is. This could be like a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter level where you're at this thing and you'd like fall through various levels. Like you could be on this little catwalk and then you could fall down into the next spot where there's flashing lights going on and steam shooting out everywhere and stuff like that. But the third act is just nonstop action. Like they fight Alan, they fight Thunder, they have to. And those fights are pretty darn good. Yeah. Like we were saying, and like but the one that gets me is when they take out Bolo, they take out Thunder, and then Charlie, they see their dad and they're like, whoa, you're like, Dad's here. And then he's like, no, sorry. They're going after Uncle David. They see David. And Tony goes, go after him. I'll stay here and watch this guy. So Charlie goes off alone, and then David's threatening, or Michael's threatening David, and then Michael's lady friend like pulls a gun on him. And Charlie just protects Uncle David, and then the dad just punches him as hard as he can in the face.
Which, too, I wanted to say that earlier, basically another thing, too, that kind of set up like the ending was Michael called the cops.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
See, specifically so he could make it, which I'm pretty sure Michael's doing this so like everyone could die but him and his girlfriend, and they could just take the gold. But
yes, it
was also to basically trick them into thinking that Tank was the one, which I don't know how he figured out that Tank was the one feeding information to his sons, which I don't even think he knows his sons are. It's kind of confusing. the movie doesn't
Yep.
spend much time trying to help you understand. But yeah, he shoots Tank, who just flies out of this window.
Yeah, he's got a. It's not like he shot him with a 44 Magnum. It's just a small little 6-shooter like pistol that you see in the movies all the time. And yeah, Tank goes flying through the window. Cops show up, and there's a firefight outside. They're shooting shotguns at the building and stuff like that. And Alan's like trying to get out. And yeah, you're right. Michael basically had this whole thing planned from the very beginning. We're going to rob this bank. We're going to hide the gold here. We're going to make these keys. We're going to separate them out. We're going to come back, and we're going to have the cops arrest everybody. And you and I are going to get away scot-free with all the money, and we don't have to share a single thing of it.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's weird. If that's the case, just after the thing, take them out one by one. You're that skilled. You're a combat veteran. You're a martial arts expert. Take them out yourself. Like, honestly, that's a more interesting movie, I think, if Michael is killing everybody and his kids then find out and they still fight him at the end, or his one son does. But
yeah,
that could have been something.
I don't know why he calls the cops. It's like like you said, you could easily just shoot them all, or you know what, just share. You have a lot of money.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, just share. Sharing is caring.
Tank's living with his mom, so I don't think he was exactly getting that much of a cut. And who knows what Bolo's doing?
No one knows what Bolo's doing, except flexing and making his pecs pop, because it's Bolo and he has to do that.
But yeah, this leads to what I thought was the final fight, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, Charlie and Michael finally fights. Michael it's weird too, because like you get the impression that Michael actually cares about his kids, but at this point, I guess the mask's off, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't care about you. You're not my real son."
Oh my gosh, the scene that gets me is when Key looks at him. Charlie, I just feel better calling him Key than Charlie. I don't know why, mainly because you brought up before. I didn't really ever put too much credence in, or didn't want to admit to myself that I understood why they named him Charlie. And it was, and I just was like blind ignorance to myself. But Key's like, there's at one point he goes, "No, Dad," and he goes, "No, boy, don't call me Dad." I was like, "What? You've been his dad since he was a baby. This is ridiculous."
Which, now that we know Michael's evil, he probably did call him Charlie on purpose.
That's true. He probably named him that on purpose. You are correct. And he's a complete butthead. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
But the fight's pretty awesome. Like, there's some really vicious stuff where like Michael's like not holding anything back, and then that means Charlie has to not hold anything back, and then poor Tony just comes up walking up, and
which Tony hasn't heard the revelation, so as far as he knows, just Charlie's just beating up his dad, his birth father, for no reason.
Yep. Although we've never heard anything about his mom or stepmoms or anything else like that. Like, that's never brought up at all. So we don't know. I mean, Tony's got to be his kid because they're both blonde. They have ridiculous hair that could slick back. But it's so he sees Charlie beating him up, and there's some really cool stuff in this one. Like, I do like the Liu Kang-esque bicycle kick that Charlie pulls off, because I'm like, oh, wire work, cool.
I'm gonna look up Key really quick. I think it's probably just, I've noticed now when like someone has really good kicks, 9 times out of 10 it's because they know Taekwondo.
Yep, I'm pretty sure he knows Taekwondo, or at least some sort of, or maybe Hapkido, because that's another one that does a similar, where they have a lot of kicking and some joint lock manipulation thrown in. But
because like even like someone like, oh, Jackie Chan, Tony Jaa, how are your kicks so awesome? Oh, it's Taekwondo.
Yeah. Well, Jackie's kicks are awesome because he and Sammo and Ewan Biao were all tortured when they were kids, and they were basically taught to kick pretty, because they're not real martial artists per se. They're stage fighters and stuff. So it's like Taekwondo looks pretty, so that's what they're gonna do.
And then like Tony Jaa, it's like, yeah, obviously like Muay Thai is like his main style, but like knowing now that he knows Taekwondo, it makes sense why he could do like such big high kicks. Oh yeah.
I mean, Muay Thai was his primary, but he basically, his teacher, Pana, was basically, you're gonna learn screen fighting martial arts, so you're gonna learn Taekwondo kicks, you're gonna learn judo for some falls, so you can take falls and not get hurt. You're gonna so they did all of that stuff. That's why Tony Jaa was so amazing when he first burst on the scene because you're like, he can literally do everything.
Yeah.
He can flip in the air like gravity doesn't uh, impact him, kind of like Yuan Biao. But then he also has the power of like Sammo Hung, and he's got Jackie's ridiculous acrobatic ability and stuff. So it's yeah.
But Jerry Trimble too is just he's awesome, like fighting wise. Like he has like these such fast, like amazing kicks, which he's a kickboxer, so like obviously like he's trained to like actually, like knock people out.
He has a really good snap to his kicks. Like there's one scene that I always remember, and it's when he's trying to walk away and Charlie grabs him and he turns around and he punches Charlie and then he does a real crazy snap kick and Charlie slams against this like oil drum thing. And that snap kick looks ridiculous. It's so crisp and so clean. And I'm like, I can feel it. Like, because yeah, Jerry Trimble was not trained for the screen. He trained to fight professionally. And you can just tell when somebody has power and when they're that skilled and they can kick and they can just pull their kick. He should have been bigger. Like he should have been in more. He should have been the either the henchman or the bad guy in a lot more movies.
Yeah, and it is like obviously like judging this, he's not like you can't really say he's like a good actor, but just kind of like his screen presence is really good.
Yeah, he's got a natural presence, and guess what? As he gets older, like I've seen him in some other stuff, like he gets better. He's fine. Like he does just straight acting roles now. He's not even much action anymore because he's now a working actor. So he'll get he did get better, but it's one of those things like this moment in time, he was there for one thing. And it's like, oh, you can kick and you can fight and you can look good doing it, and you have this natural screen charisma that you just can't. Some people you just can't manufacture it. Like there's a difference between Huy Quan and Eddie Saverda. Huy Quan has this natural charisma and this screen presence. Unfortunately, Eddie does not.
He's just
not taking anything. He's just a good martial artist, not taking anything away from him. But you see that's why Key would go on. And I mean, Key's just bubbly and he comes alive and you want to watch him.
He has like this. He has this amazing likability that like makes you want to root for him all the time.
Exactly. Yep. I think he could be the bad guy, and I would love him even more. Like he'd be one of those. I think he'd make a really good bad guy myself. Like because he's that. He could play it off as he's not as good as he is, or he's not as skilled, and he could be kind of the like funny bad guy who then can just kick ass later. But unfortunately, I think he's so likable. Nobody would ever cast him as a villain unless he wrote his own movie if he wanted to be a bad guy.
Which like Love Hurts, you get like a little bit of it, but
not as much like just kind of a glimpse. I know. I wish they spent more time on that. I wish there was a longer flashback of him being old. I can't remember what his character was, but old badass Ke Huy Quan with his little mustache. I'm starting to sense something. When you have a pencil thin mustache, you become a bad guy.
I thought of that earlier, and it's like I wonder if this movie is where he got the idea from.
Oh, that's a good idea. I bet I wouldn't put it past him. Like he probably was like, wait a minute. There's some nerds out there that watch this stuff.
If I could ask him anything, it would literally be like, hey, did you get the mustache thing from Breathing Fire?
Right.
And he's probably going to be like, what? You know what Breathing Fire is?
Yeah, you saw that? I'm like, yes, sir. I owned the VHS bought used from my local mom and pop video store until I wore it out.
Yeah, it's just like I wish Jerry Trimble was like. It's like, come on, he wasn't in like a Van Damme movie. He couldn't have fought Van Damme for like 5 seconds or something like that.
Right? Yeah, like Lionheart. He would have been a great villain for him to fight in, like Lionheart. Like be one of the not the main baddie, but like one of the guys who he's fighting in this underground thing, and that this underground fight ring. And yeah, Trimble would have been sweet because his kicks would have balanced really good against Van Damme's look, so yeah. Or he could have even fought like he could have been in some of those like, other kind of B movies that were in theaters, like with Thomas Ian Griffith, from Karate Kid
Oh,
3 and Cobra Kai. He was in, he had a
Cracker
couple of
was it?
movies. Oh boy, I'm being, yeah.
That's another. There's like a million Die Hard ripoffs, and all their names like get stuck in my. I know what movie you're talking about.
Yep, he's this like cop, and he's got his mullet, and he's got earrings, and he's like the super well dressed cop, and then
Cracker Jack, was that it? Is that what you're thinking of?
that's not what I'm thinking of, no, but I'll find out while we're talking. You go ahead and keep talking, and I'll find out because now I'm like I have to know what I'm talking about here.
Um, yeah, I'm just like it's like, oh come on, he's never in like a Cynthia Rothrock movie or something where they could just like duke it out. Like that would have been cool. Like looking at like Jerry Trimble's filmography, even for someone of like this era, it's like you would think he'd be in way more movies than he actually is in.
Very much so. Cracker Jack, I know what you're talking about there, but uh, Ulterior Motives is one that I would remember Thomas Griffin from. And then,
Oh, vampires. You're talking about vampires.
nope. But yes, I mean he was in that and he was great in it. But yes,
It's really funny when they have like martial art actors that they're in action movies, but they don't do martial arts.
I know that always it's the weirdest thing to me. I'm like, why cast? I mean, they're sure they're good actors and they show up and they hit their marks and everything, but it's still weird to me. I'm like, why would you like at least give them something action oriented to do? Oh, there it is, Excessive Force from 1993.
Uh, I
That's
could
a
probably
good one.
I can understand why you wouldn't remember that title because it's like that's pretty. That you could tell me that's like 5 movies and I would believe you.
Exactly right. Yeah, Excessive Force, Excessive Force 2, Excessive Force 3. There was probably multiple ones. I think there was at least two, but yeah. So yeah, the fight between them is between Key and Jerry Trimble is really good, uh, and they have the old school sound effects where it's like punches don't sound like that in real life. They sound like kind of like Indiana Jones ish. They're like super impactful. I love those sound effects. I wish more of them had it.
I wish more movies use specifically the Indiana Jones punches because it sounds like Indy's hitting people with rocks.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a bat hitting leather, and you're just like, it's like no human skin on skin makes that contact, but I love it. And then so they basically he gets arrested, and he won't even look at Tony, and then Tony's mad at Charlie because Charlie basically let his dad get arrested, and you're like, no, Tony, your dad's a horrible criminal murderer.
It's like how do you even like begin to explain to him? It's like, okay, well first your dad killed my mom. Well, it was Vietnam. It's like, well, he didn't have to do that.
Yep, that's why I'm your brother now.
It's like I imagine David talking to him is like, "No, your dad did this. Your dad did this." It's like, actually, why was I ever friends with your dad? I probably should have turned on him a while ago myself.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, I
But
know I'm his brother, but I, basically didn't have anything to do with him for clearly years while I was drunk at a mechanic shop, not being a mechanic. Apparently, I don't know. There's a way, David. We never really got into David's backstory.
one thing that I like about like 90s action movies is they actually decided like, wait, we should actually like kind of wrap things up because you watch like
Yep.
70s or 80s action movies, it's like, oh, the villain's dead, movie's over.
Yep. It like ends on the death scene and then like somebody walking away or even like smiling at the camera. And yeah, they wrap this up. And then, oh, lo and behold, hey, remember that tournament at the beginning where they said they were going to represent California in a bigger tournament? I guess we get it.
And the movie is very thankfully the movie understands that like, okay, yeah, we're at the end, we should probably just kind of montage a couple of these fights. But
Yeah,
of
they're not
course,
long and drawn out, thankfully.
and would you believe it or not, Tony and Charlie make it to the finals.
What? And Tony's a complete jerk now. Like Tony's fighting like a complete ass. He's not like bowing to people. And every time he wins, he looks over at Charlie with a mean face, and then he kind of just goes like, ugh. And poor David's sitting next to Charlie. Like David's purely in Charlie's corner. Uncle David is like, I'm Charlie's uncle now, Tony. You're being a complete jerk.
You're not even allowed at the pool. You can't even go into the pool house anymore. That's your punishment.
And I don't think is the girl back at the final scene, or it's just
Don't
David and
remember.
Tony, right? I don't, or it's just David and Charlie sitting together.
I can't remember if she was there. She basically just disappears from the movie after a certain point.
Yeah, she's just gone.
But yeah, Charlie and Tony have their fight, and Charlie doesn't want to fight his brother, while Tony's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kick your ass." Very surprising though, Tony actually does win.
Yeah, they kind of went that. Yeah, I was very surprised they went that route, even when I watched it the first time.
You would think the actor that actually people know would win, but no, Tony wins. And apparently that made everything get out of system, and he loves his brother again.
Well, there's this. Charlie has a necklace that he never knew where it was from, because remember, it like starts when they're at the tournament the first time, and some guy is being a real jerk to him, and then he goes, "Where's this? What's this from?" And then he throws his like necklace around his, and then Charlie goes, "Let him go, man. The necklace is really important to him." and then it comes up later, because that's how Uncle David tells him about the backstory. Was you had that with you when you were a baby, and your mother told us to take you away from her. And then Tony kicks him so hard, because Charlie just stands there and lets him kick him, that the necklace flies off, and Tony looks down at it. And I half expected there to be a little flashback of seeing them as like kids together growing up, but
Yeah.
they didn't have the money nor time for that, because this movie's a cool 125 minutes, which I love it. In and out, no muss, no fuss.
That's what I was going to say. There's no way they would hire more actors just for a flashback scene.
There is one moment in the fight that pisses me off, and that's when Charlie is blocking and not attacking, and the referee goes, "You do that again and you will be disqualified. You are a disgrace to the martial arts." No, you're not. Martial arts is about self-defense primarily, not about attacking people. He's actually displaying the ultimate martial art attitude, and this mustachio tattooed douchebag is like, you do it again, you fight, or you're gonna be disqualified. You're a disgrace. I'm like, no, he's not. That irritates me to this day. As a lifelong martial artist, I'm not like the best, but I've taken various martial arts throughout the years, and I still practice to this day. And it's like, no, Charlie's doing the right thing by not fighting.
Well, this isn't like a kickboxing match. It's like a Taekwondo tournament.
Yeah, they're wearing gloves. They're wearing like fighting gear. They're not, they have the chest guard. They have, the only thing they're not wearing is the old school head guard that you've seen in other movies that people wear when they practice, when they spar. No, you can't cover their faces. But yeah, Charlie basically uses all of Uncle David's moves, and he could have beat Tony, but he just kind of realizes like, no, Tony needs this, and then he gets knocked out really bad, and everybody thinks he's dead, and then Tony has, like you said, he does a 180 really fast. Like he comes right back, and he's like, "Charlie," and then he's like, "Hey, I got this for you, brother." And then they hug, and then Tony, like you said, Tony wins. It's almost like, wait a minute, we're teaching the wrong message here. Tony shouldn't win. He should.
Yeah, it's like all Tony had to do to forgive him was kick his brother's ass just once.
Exactly. Just kick him in the face as hard as you possibly can, knock him out, and make his necklace fly off. And that's what Tony needed to get it out of his system. Because then he's like, everything came true. He's like, yeah, my dad's an ass. He's a robber. He's a murderer. I kind of wish we would have had at least one little bit before the fight where Tony was just like, can't believe my, or even when he's like leaving, if a cop was like, he killed somebody, and Tony was just like trying not to hear it, but I don't know, maybe I'm asking too much of breathing fire.
Or I don't know, even a scene of David talking to him and just being like, yeah, your dad wasn't the best.
Yeah, and they could still have like Tony going, "You're lying," and then he's mad at the fight still, and that could have been fine. But
Imagining Tony at the end hugging Charlie, and he's just like, "I guess my dad did kill your mom," and it just credits, freeze frame
Yep.
credits.
Hey, sorry about my dad killing your mom and all, but we're still brothers, right?
Yeah.
What a movie! What a movie!
Yeah, that was Raving Fire. Yeah, I love this huy. This is a lot of fun. This is definitely like one of these things where it's like I'll just be like, "Hey, did you know Huy Quan was in like a '90s martial arts movie? You got to check it out." This is what he was doing before Encino Man. And they're like, he was in Encino Man?
I'm like, yeah, remember? He was in Encino Man.
I actually have to check. Was this before or after Encino Man? It's after.
I think this is after Encino Man?
Yeah.
Encino, what was that, 90?
Encino Man is 92.
Oh, 92. Okay. So 91. He literally made Breathing Fire Encino Man and then went behind the scene. Well, he did that one. Yeah. What was it? Red Pirates, I think, or Red. Yeah, and then he kind of went. Then he went behind the scenes and did stuff. But yeah, if you go just on YouTube and watch the Red Pirate fight scenes, they're very legit.
So, yeah, this is a fun movie with like really good fight scenes. The tonal shift, it's I feel like it's an acquired taste because like you watch like a lot of people talk about movies they don't like tonal shifts, but when you watch movies like these, I think tonal shifts can almost like work to the advantage when it comes to enjoyment, because you can just be like, oh haha, this is a fun movie, and then you'd be like, oh god, oh this is brutal, I love it.
Yep, I am with you 100%. It's one of those where you're like, why hasn't Vinegar Syndrome put this out yet, or some other like Blu-ray, like boutique Blu-ray thing? Like this is up there with TC 2000 and Tiger Claws. Like this. Plus, I mean, you got, Ke Huy Quan's riding a second wave of popularity. And like you said, the dude did win an Oscar. Like, you would think like put that out there.
Like, jump at this. Yeah, you think they would like jump on like a movie like this? And it's like, you're telling me the Michael McDowell movie Closer, The Closer, has a Vinegar Syndrome release, but not this.
Like I said, you're telling me I love it, but you're telling me TC 2000 has a Vinegar Syndrome release and this one doesn't? These are neck and neck because they both have Bolo, and this one on top of it has Ke Huy Quan and Ed Neal.
Yeah. It's like you could just.
I kind of wish Ed Neal did more. I would have liked to watch him fight more in other movies. He's good.
I thought he was really good in this movie, and it's like it's kind of a shame that like the only thing that he's known for is being not even the voice of Zed, but just the guy wearing the suits. And like obviously, like if you look up like if you're a Power Ranger fan and you look up the other movies, if you look up the other series he's in, you're like, oh, okay, cool. He was a Clipter. He was, oh my god, what's his name? Rygog, who is one of the Power Ranger Turbo guys. Oh, he was in Masked Rider, where he actually did a voice.
Wow. Hey, full circle. It all comes back around to Masked Rider.
Yeah, it was Breathing Fire. Then he was in this movie called Deathmatch, and then he was just in like Saban Tokusatsu stuff, and then apparently he's in Wicked Game, which Wicked Game just has like a bunch of random. Wicked Game just has a bunch of random like Power Rangers people in it because it was literally
and weird titles too. Because was it also known as like Extreme Heist, or is that a different one?
I think Extreme Heist is the official title, but I always thought Wicked Game sounded better.
Oh wow! Look, if you look at his name, so Johnny Young Bosch's character, Billy Ray Leung, Jason Narvey, Guile London, Ed Neal, husband. Oh man!
Oh, and then Bulk is in it, and he plays the bartender named Mom. I just remembered that.
Mom. You're right. I'll sure, Mom.
I think he's in like one scene.
Yep. Oh man, that's awesome.
But yeah, I 100% recommend if you like action movies or you just want to see more movies of Ke Quan, I 100% recommend Breathing Fire.
Ditto, 100%. It's ridiculously fun. It takes you back to a time when these were in your local video store like every other week. You could walk down the aisles and you could just look at the cassette tapes and you're like, oh, Bolo's in this? Who's that? Or then you go to the next one, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. It takes me back to a time when I could just, you'd rent these, you'd go home, you don't know what to expect because you didn't see trailers for them. There wasn't YouTube, at least for me, to watch any of these things. Or you'd rent one movie and then that same company would be putting these other ones out and you'd see the actual trailer for these before the movie started. And you'd be like, oh man, I got to put live wire human time bomb on my list of things to watch or something like that.
I've never seen that, but I know that movie. Because
Yep,
I know that movie because I would see a trailer for it on random stuff.
Yep. Anytime there was a new image from the 90s, because that one starred Street Justice's Brian Genesee. It's one of my favorites. One of my guy should have been bigger. Should have been a bigger star.
And that's Breathing Fire.
Yep.
Me and Andy definitely didn't have like a 20-minute conversation about other DTV action movies.
Not at all. Nope. It's just a weird, awkward pause and come back to that's Breathing Fire.
You know what? I think I am gonna like kind of keep. Well, I'm not gonna keep it in the episode, but I think I will like make it like a separate thing.
No, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun talk. Hell, if you want, we can do it again a couple months down the road and just do a. If you want to just talk DTV, I'll come back on and we can just do this again, and I'll talk about even more.
I would love that. I don't want to be one of those guys. It's like, yeah, can you please come back on? But I would love to have you back on. This was so much fun.
It was a blast, man. I love talking this stuff, and like I have some friends that love action movies, but they don't always want to talk about them like I do.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so
that was Breathing Fire.
Yeah. All right, Andy. So, where can we find you?
Okay, if anybody wants to follow me, I made it super easy. All of my socials, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, X, because I'm still there, is Andrew M. Gorham. Like I always say, if you're searching and you find the giant nerd surrounded by droids grinning like an idiot, you found me. And if you want to hear my Star Wars podcast that I do with my good friends Chris and Mark, that is on all the socials. It's backwards. It's at Scum Imperial, but we're on Podbean and Spotify as our main ones, because unfortunately Apple, there was a big issue with the artwork or something that it wasn't sized correctly. And Chris, who's my podcast co-host and the one who kind of spearheaded the whole thing, they kept denying him. And he was like, I'm done trying to submit it to them. I don't care. And we basically do it for us and we want to talk. So if you want Star Wars and Lucasfilm positivity, you can follow us there. And we'd love to have you guys listen to us and join us on our Star Wars Discord. So.
All right. Thank you so much for coming, Andy. This was a lot of fun.
No, thank you. It was an absolute blast, and I hope we get to talk again sometime down the road, for sure.
Yep, 100%. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please like, share, subscribe, all those things that the YouTubers say. Most importantly, though, I want to know what your favorite martial art movie is. Whether it's, something big or something small like this one, please let us know. And then I will comment whether you have a good taste or not. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. Bye, everybody.